Hello and welcome to this second scene setting video for the 6th edition of the OECD Summer Academy on Cultural and Creative Industries. I am Marco Bianchini and I'm an economist in the Center for Entrepreneurship, SMEs, Regions and Cities, and I'm very happy to be joined today by Luis Aranda. Hello Luis, policy analyst in the OECD.AI Policy Observatories. First of all, we want to start discussing about a topic that has been in the mind of many people lately on artificial intelligence. And this has been described by some as a revolutionary technology that creates godlike intelligence that will substitute human intelligence in the near future, all the way to people saying it's just a statistical tool, it's just something that helps us as many other tools have. How the OECD defines this technology?
Thank you, Marco. That's a great question. Just let me start by saying that AI is an evolving technology. So that means that it's difficult to come up with a definition that is future-proof and at the same time technically accurate. The OECD has already done that. In the OECD AI principles, the OECD has provided a definition that basically mentions some characteristics of an AI system, saying that it's a machine-based system that produces some outputs like recommendations or decisions that then influence the environment in which the system lives. So if some of the main elements of an AI system that the OECD has identified is, for instance, the environment in which it is deployed. It could be a company, it could be a game, it could be an industry. And then the data that it takes and it's built upon, it doesn't have to be data itself. It could be rules that experts code into it, for instance. And then that data is used to build a model or an operational logic that is designed to provide outputs that, as I said before, could be recommendations for action that then have an impact in the environment. So those are the four elements. You can think of it as a loop. It's a looping system. And again, we're still working on the definition because it's a dynamic field. And we want to make sure that it's technically accurate but also future-proof. Thank
you very much. This is clear, and also thank you for putting us in the mindset of understanding it as an evolving technology and an evolving area of analysis. And in this stage at the moment, if you had to identify three main areas of applications or three industries in which you think AI can really make a change.
Yeah, well, as you started the conversation, Marco, AI has been in the minds of a lot of people, but it's not all AI. This has been driven by the surge of generative AI. So let me focus on generative AI for a second. So if I think of three industries where generative AI will have a high impact or a large impact, I would say professional services. You can think of things like chatbots or customer service tools. I can also mention education, so building interactive tools for kids where they can have personalized education. And then number three, of course, creative industries. Everything going from product design to content creation. I think those three industries will see a lot of change in the future.
Thank you, Luis. And if I might connect to this, do you think there are particular issues also or opportunities that you would see for developing economies?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm from a developing country myself, and when I think of developing countries, I can see some common problems, and maybe that's a good way to start. What are the main problems? What are some of the main problems in developing countries that maybe we can try to use AI to help solve them? One big problem in developing countries tends to be corruption. And there AI can play a huge role in, for instance, detecting fraud through anomaly detection or finding patterns for cheating social benefit systems and all those things. A second challenge faced by developing countries is healthcare. And there you can have AI systems that triage patients and could start diagnosing some of the most common diseases before patients see a doctor. And then number three, of course, crime. And AI systems can help you find some patterns in crime, in detecting crime and improving your police systems and so on. So I think those three challenges would see some benefits from the use of AI.
Thanks, Luis, and this connects very well with my next question, that is around indeed AI regulation. So we see that around the globe there are many attempts to try to regulate AI and to try to reap the benefits, but without being succumb actually to the challenges and the potential issues there. And I'm thinking about potential uses for creating misinformation, data privacy, intellectual property infringement, but also on a more, without even connecting to what we say about the ethical dilemmas of having actually a machine creating also cognitive products that before were only possible to create by human minds. So what is the OECD doing in this to support governments in trying to regulate properly AI?
Right, it's a big question because at the OECD we don't regulate, and that's a misconception that some people have, that the OECD regulates. We don't. What we do and what we did in 2019 is that the OECD came out with the OECD AI principles, which is a set of 10 principles that can help governments and anyone else build and use trustworthy AI. And what we've done since for 4 years now is to help governments implement these principles. And these principles aim to target the issues that you just mentioned, like for instance fairness, accountability, safety. All those issues are included in the principles. So what are we doing now to help governments? We have a platform called OECD.AI that I encourage everyone to visit. Mm-hmm. We're trying to track developments and trends in AI in real time because AI is moving fast, and we know that. And governments, usually policy doesn't move as fast as technology. And so what we're trying to do is to provide governments with real-time or almost real-time data so that they can make decisions today based on data from today. It doesn't make sense to give a government data from 2 years ago to regulate AI today, right? 2 years ago we didn't have generative AI. We would be talking about AI for COVID. You know, that's not what we're talking about today. So that's what we're trying to do on OECD.ai, provide this data and also collect all the policies worldwide so that anyone, including governments, can look at good practices from other countries and use them to develop their own policies. You know, so we're collecting these good practices and we're making them available publicly. One thing that I would like to mention is we're tracking incidents, AI incidents in real time from news articles, because we know there are some risks of AI systems and some governments are trying to regulate high-risk AI systems. But there is no way to, there is no systemic way to define what these systems are. So what we need to do is look at evidence, and we're doing that by looking at the news and by looking at the AI systems that are actually harming people or societies or the environment. So that's one effort that we're doing that I think is quite interesting and that can actually inform policy in a very useful way.
Thank you, and OECD.ai, do check it out. It's, I think you made the perfect spot for it. And maybe to connect the last to a last point that I think is of interest to us is how the AI is being adopted in industry. So how it is being adopted as well by companies of different size in different industries. So thinking of small and medium enterprises, because it's easy for all of us to imagine how large corporates are already embedding this kind of tools and machine learning based algorithms in their operations. But is there a space also for the smaller guys? Is there also a place for entrepreneurs or smaller firms or again people working on their own to try to leverage this technology? And do you think this in the future giving them an opportunity actually to become more digitalized and to use this more in their day-to-day work?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, the search of generative AI basically lowered the entry point to use some of these technologies for small and medium enterprises, for instance, but also for people everywhere in the world. However, I do want to say that there is a digital divide, and that there's no reason to think it's going to change or get better if we don't do things differently. And by that I mean we need to facilitate. We need to make it easier for SMEs to have access to the three enablers of AI: to have access to data, to the right data, to have access to computing power, and to have access to talent. If we don't do that, we shouldn't expect digital divides to decrease in the near future, at least.
Great. So no differences without different process and different approach to it. That's extremely interesting, and maybe it leads us also to the very last question that I would want to ask is, if you would want to summarize in one sentence or in one concept how AI is going to impact our societies and economies.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say something, I guess bluntly, because I think nowadays generative AI has gotten us very scared about the future, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. I think AI has, yes, it has some risks, but it also has a lot of opportunities, and we should try to reap those opportunities so that we can improve our societies, and of course leave no one behind. So I would like to leave everyone with a positive mindset when it comes to AI. Try to, yes, mitigate those risks, prevent those risks, but use it to our benefit.
Thank you very much, Luis. And on this positive mindset, we say hello to our listeners, and we hope you found this interesting. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Marco.
Thank you, Luis.